Looking back on these videos with the sun shining on the beach near a cozy little Danish cottage, it's easy to forget that this winter, since we returned from Finland, has been really hard. I always want to focus on the positive side of things in my videos because I know there's so much to be thankful for in my life. But I'd be lying if I said that I'm feeling good or even feeling okay right now. It's hard to share these moments where everything feels so heavy. It's only now that the worst of these moments have passed that I feel like I can come up for air, and I'm in a place where the fog has lifted enough for me to feel like I can share here again. When I'm in the thick of the times that feel so hard, it's impossible for me to share. But even then, I tried to capture the beauty of small moments, like the little birds flying over to the bird feeder by our home and watching them munch on seeds through the window while the snow falls softly in our garden. I'm glad that I was able to appreciate these little moments and capture them to share once I felt ready. In times like this, all I can do is focus on each individual day and try to find joy wherever I can. Right now, that means taking advantage of a rare occurrence in the Danish winter, a snow day. Pepsi has a little best friend, a husky named Gaia. And many days we head out into the Danish countryside with Gaia's mom and walk along forest paths, farm fields, and near the ocean. And today, the added snow makes it feel a little more magical. Since this winter has felt so tough, we've worked on something that's quintessential in Scandinavian culture and necessary during the gray, rainy days in Denmark: creating a little room with a sauna on our property. The reason that I've been struggling so much is in large part due to lengthy dental procedures with medication that's had me feeling hungover for months. And the sauna helps me so much with the side effects of the ongoing dental anesthesia and how overwhelming it all feels. Eventually, the snow begins to melt, but the last morning with the light sparkling on the ice crystals is so beautiful. The time has finally come to start preparing our garden for summer. We're constantly working on projects, and since we've spent a couple of months building the new sauna room, we're starting small with our garden this year.
Pepsi, come here. Come say hi. Hi, Vivi. Hello. Hello.
We're setting up just a few planters that will fill with strawberries, raspberries, and some greens like Swiss chard and zucchini. I've allocated 1 day a week to work on the garden, leveling the ground, building our planters, and creating a plan for what will grow this year. I leave most of the work until it warms up, though, to make sure that I don't disturb the pollinators that are hibernating underneath the leaves in our yard.
And we should be fine. You can just put the roots in this bunch here.
Our planters are ready to go, Pepsi.
This morning, my garden project is to make sure that the soil in our blueberry patch is acidic enough. So, even though we don't drink coffee, I mix a few bags of coffee grounds with banana peels and water and cook it all down to create a mixture that will hopefully help our blueberry bushes produce lots of berries this summer. Doing small, wholesome tasks like this gives me a bit of a break from focusing on how poor I've been feeling, and it gives me the chance to feel a little bit hopeful about growing our own food and all of the beautiful plant life that's soon going to be here. I've also had a little kitty friend that's been visiting, and going out to the garden to fertilize our blueberries with his little meows and breaks to pet him, it all helps me feel a little bit better. This is also one of our first spring days with sun, and it just feels so good to work outside. Hello. It's been a little while since I filmed, a couple months actually, since I really felt confident to go in front of the camera. And if I'm being honest, I don't really feel confident right now, but I thought if I don't film this now, I'm never gonna do it. I've been putting it off and finding excuses as to why I shouldn't sit down and talk to you about how heavy these past few months have been feeling since we got back from Finland. I don't think it's any surprise that I need a lot of access to nature and space and trees and mountains, lakes and rivers in my life. It's the thing I love most. The one constant I've always had in my life is my connection to nature, no matter what other things I've been interested in, what I'm doing, where I am. That's been the one thing that's always kept me grounded. And where we are in Denmark, really, well, there's nature, a couple of pigeons. But where we are in Denmark, I mean, anywhere you go in Denmark, if I'm being absolutely honest, there isn't much nature. There's a little, but there's not the hundreds of kilometers of wilderness I'm accustomed to from being in Canada and when I lived in Sweden. And I need that kind of environment to feel whole, to feel complete. And a lot of my interests and activities that I love to do are based around outdoor recreation and being in nature. So I struggle in Denmark, generally speaking. I realize how privileged I am too, so it's kind of a difficult thing to talk about because we have this beautiful little cottage on a nice little piece of land in the Danish countryside. It's very cozy, very hygge. We grow a lot of our own food. I'm sitting in front of my art studio. Never thought I'd have an art studio, you know, and my little art shack with its little deck with the plum tree right above it. I realize how lucky I am. And so I never want to talk about this and sound like I'm ungrateful for what I have, because I am really, really grateful. I recognize my privilege, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm happy. And I think that's something that people don't talk about a lot. And just, you know, the trips that we take to Norway, the trips that we take to Finland, those are the places, those are the environments that I really thrive in. And I get so little time in those environments each year. And it's been why we've been looking to buy a cabin in Norway and why we've been on this journey. And we're about to embark on this journey again because I need that wilderness to feel complete in myself. That connection to nature is really, really important to me. And even though I love sharing our lifestyle here in Denmark and I love many parts of it, because there's that one thing missing, it really feels like a huge hole in my life. And so, yeah, I've just been debating as to whether I should talk about it. I was already struggling this winter a lot because there's no outdoor recreation. In the winter here, it's just kind of rainy and flat, and yeah, it's a struggle for me. But on top of that, I've also had some really heavy feelings because I've had a lot of dental work done over the past year, and my face is still partially swollen right now, so I just haven't felt like myself. And on top of the seasonal kind of depression that I feel in the winter here, it's felt very heavy. And it just took a while for me to get here to be able to talk about it, because I never want to sound ungrateful or like I don't recognize the beautiful things that I have in my life and how lucky I am. But I think it's important to talk about the things that we're struggling with either way, even if I don't know if anyone can relate to them. But yeah, other than that, I don't really know my point other than to say that things have felt heavy, but they're starting to look up, and it makes a big difference when I look out right now and see the green on the trees and the flowers budding. It just feels nice that spring is coming again, because I can get my hands in the earth and start to plant food on our property, and that makes a big difference. And also, we're leaving for Norway tomorrow. That makes an even bigger difference. I always get happy when I get to go to Norway. So I'm going to continue sharing, even though life for me doesn't always feel perfect. I don't know if it does for anybody, but with it being spring now, everything is turning green again and looking so lush and beautiful with the leaves on the trees and the flowers, and I'm really trying to focus on that and just being grateful that the sun is out again, and that I can just feel a little bit more connected to the nature that we do have here.